in that industry. There's a lot more people who have things that they can offer, but then they do not have the financial, backing and funding to take off, from the ground. I think I was just, on YouTube this morning, and someone from Zambia was saying they really appreciate Nigerians and the fact that Nigerians are an absolute gift to Africa and the world over, in terms of how much we're giving in music, how much we're giving in entertainment. Nigerians are coming with the energy, with the script and everything. So it's more like it's an industry that if you have money, you can, for you to put your money in. Scout for newbies that, have the talent and have a gift to the world, and maybe invest in them. We're not talking about necessarily, there are people that have already found their feet. When you go and do collaboration with just them, make room for other people that are just coming up, newbies, to be able to also rise in the ladder. These are more just things that are good. And then if we have more people saying, entertainment, content creation is the new oil well, then it will go without saying that, smart business people will want to invest and, peg a place for themselves in the industry. But it is good. But I must say it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of concentration. It just takes a lot, because sometimes we think that, okay, it's a 3-minute or 2-minute skit and it's easy. Let me just flip up my phone and it's going to get done. My dear, it's not that easy. It's not that easy, especially when consistency comes knocking on the door, and everything. And then sometimes I don't know how many people experience it, but for like creative, there's something that you call an inspiration plug. When you're just out and blank, like nothing is coming to mind. You're looking for how, you're
struggling.
Yes, you're just stuck, until you find a way to get back into your wow moment. But then it happens for everybody now and then.
Yes, it does happen for everybody. I mean, the creative world is one amazing industry, is one amazing field.
Especially because like you have to consistently be churning out something.
You have to consistently, and not just churning out anything. You have to churn out things that are in tandem with the trends, things that are
with
quality,
the needs of the moment,
and then is consistent with the message that you represent. Or a message, a lot of dedication, a lot of focus for one to be able to, consistently stay relevant in the industry. But then, as far as you're a creative, I mean, you'll always, find that grace, find that strength. You just need to know what to do, when to do it. If you need to take a break, get to relax, go on a vacation, spend some time behind the backwaters, pondering and meditating, whatever works for you. You just need to do it when the time calls for it, and you still come back. That's why people back. You still get to be loved by your fan base, and you even get to find new niche, coming in to say, oh, well, maybe, one thing I've discovered oftentimes happen for artists is when they go on a vacation or go on a break and then come back, there's always that new audience catching in for them, because there's always something expansion. And talking about new frontiers, our very first story today happens to be something that literally just lighted my heart when I saw it. So Aki and Popo Osita and what's his name again, Chinedu Ikedieze, have been actually children, or they're grown-up men, and it took a lot of argument before we finally settled. I think I had an experience, somebody was with them in school, and I said, come on, these are grown-up guys and they are acting like kids, and legendary brand, if we have to put it that way. So Aki and Papa have had their very first Nollywood character video game. The very first Nollywood character video game is named after or branded after Aki and Popo. Now, the video game is developed by Play Network Studio in collaboration with Blue Portal Software, and it's titled The Epic Personal. But I love to try this game.
You love to try what an African and a Nigerian game will feel like, right?
Definitely, I'd love to try this out.
And then the epic run, you know that the movie Aki and Popo itself was about the two of them always doing hanky-panky and having to run, inciting for people, something that can juggle your mind. Not just that, we play away, but then every time you get on the game, you should have grown, because that, there are games that you play that trigger your mind to think, assertiveness and other things like that. But I must say that this is a Nollywood characters to have their own video game. So you're talking about more and more collaborations within the industry, and just like we were saying earlier, there's more and more frontiers. You think it's just a movie today, tomorrow now it has become a game. One, of course, they both appear to be voiced by the Nollywood actors behind these comic characters, Chinedu Ikedieze and Osita Heme. So we are looking at the fact that the voicing behind the game also is going to be theirs. So it's absolutely original to them, and I hope it's something that our children mischievous, right? Yeah, not teaching our children to be mischievous though, but then because that was more like what Aki and Popo the movie was like, showing you how children can be mischievous. But this is an absolute celebration of the works that these two have done. We are proud of the entertainment industry in Nigeria, and now we can say we have a game to our name. And this is the beautiful thing about being a trailblazer. Once they have done it now, you're going to begin to see more people, create games out of their movies, out of their books, and out of their content. So within the next 2, 3, 5 years, we are expecting more than Aki and Popo, game on the plate of entertainment. So this is good. Congratulations for being a trailblazer. Oftentimes it's sweet to be the first, yeah, and we do hope that you have what it takes, to continually. Game has come to stay. I'm sure the release date will be coming pretty soon, and we are all for it in this industry.
Well, definitely, we are all up for a lot of interesting twists, a lot of interesting turns, a lot of interesting developments in the lives of our celebrities, all of us in our career path. And the game twist definitely is another one. And people are so much in love with games. A lot of people. This is one thing that cuts across the younger generation, the older generation. Literally anybody who's a game lover would still want to play these epic run. Yeah. And particularly coming from these two persons.
So you're looking at comic relief inside the fact that
exactly. So it's not just a game. I'm looking at it not just being a game, but a game that also eases your tension when you need to. All of the storylines around the Aki and Popo in the village setup. Oh my goodness. If I have to now sit down and get to remember all of them, they were usually very unthinkable, hilarious things that would make you just, that situation that you're like, I just don't want to laugh. And the TV is on, the home video machine is on, and then the first movie you see, maybe somebody had watched Aki and Popo and paused somewhere, and the first thing that comes on the screen is the two people, playing out a prank on the late Sam Loke Fair or somebody else, and you're like, hello.
I remember growing up, I really never watched Aki and Popo because no, I really didn't. And I'm not someone that is big on comedy. So oftentimes comedy can be going on and it's just flying over my head because I don't know how it works, but I don't relate. Especially when you're even talking about, like, if you even take me to, I see everyone, I like, oh my God, Western comedies are epic. I can't follow. I can't even try when, I'm watching like, the Nigerian guys, the Nollywood guys, quote and unquote, with their comedy. Sometimes I can relate to something and it makes me laugh. You see, when you bring comedy that is Western, like all them Kevin Hart, I don't get what they are saying. What is funny about what they are saying? Me, I don't know, so Aki and Popo even really didn't cut a niche for me while growing up. I don't even think I've watched that movie from beginning to end. Wow. The first one and the one that just came out, I don't think I watched it. I'm not really big on comedy in that way, but I would actually absolutely celebrate them. But moving on from Aki and Popo, the new game that is arrived on the block, I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will be keeping their fingers crossed. We do hope you all patronize and let's play and see the game. I'm telling you, those of you that like to laugh through comedy.
Well, honestly, I do not have any iota of doubt that this is
going to be a banger.
Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be a absolutely banger. All right, let's move on. So Davido has been on the news and on the jet. I mean, 30th of March, Timeless, the album was released. It's been hitting back to back topping charts. And this week, Davido decided to spoil himself. Even the Bible says that a worker is deserving of his wages. And Davido decided to pay himself in a grand way. Oh God, I think there's a tweet I was supposed to carry. I think I forgot that tweet. Now, Davido has recently purchased for himself a 2023 Maybach Virgil Ambler for a staggering amount of 309 of this specific model were manufactured, and Davido was lucky enough to obtain one of them. Of course, he also indulged himself by purchasing a lavish Patek Philippe wristwatch to complement his new 2023 Maybach Virgil Abloh as he continues his spree of self-spoiling, of self-waging. Of course, this is grand. He spent an additional of K to complement. Now, this is why the story is banking for me. So the information came, you gotta make your money and finish. You come and be flaunting it on social media. Next thing, we are hearing that crime has increased. Would you need to, spend this amount of money on getting a car and a wristwatch and then come out and flaunt it on the social media? The said tweet was saying this is why we get people involving in yahoo and all those things, and I'm like, okay, guy, we get your point, but what's the take? That's because right now I really don't want to rave about the Maybach because I don't have energy this morning.
You need to have that energy. Seriously, you need to have that energy.
I am absolutely car triggered. I am a car freak. I am a car freak. You don't want to see me discussing about cars. Sometimes when I'm discussing about cars, guys are like, yo, are you a lady? I'm like, yo, I'm a lady and I like cars. And I like cars that much. I get to know cars and talk about cars and rave. But right now, I don't think I want to expose myself on national television like that.
There's absolutely nothing for you to, nothing wrong for you as a lady to love cars. Every single one of us has a right to love cars. You need to love something that makes you happy. Beautiful. It's the feeling is just out of this world.
For me, that's absolutely going to be Mercedes. So I have a vision of owning a garage full of Mercedes. I hope that when my husband comes, he has the same dreams. But even if he doesn't have, maybe I'll just have a garage that is my own in our house and I love Mercedes.
Oh my!
I love.
Okay,
Mercedes.
what color?
Oh, I'm for blacks and whites, but mostly white. So I have a plan that brands like I'll just be like. So there's also this effect that Mercedes have on me. So if I'm on the road, maybe I'm just walking and then I see a Mercedes. At the time, I used to live in Abuja, so there were a lot of people driving Mercedes, and you would just see a particular brand, and I would just stand first on the road. I would just begin to, release, confess, pray in other tongues. If you know what that means, I'll be like, I usually would be so excited and triggered if I saw a Mercedes. I know like all them CLE, them GLE, 450, everything, everything formatic, everything. Let's leave it. You're getting me high. I said Maybach is all those cars that are limited edition cars. That means own a limited edition car.
It's absolutely.
But me, I'm just big on Mercedes more. I'm not really triggered about other brands though. Ford, the Range Rover, yeah. The Ford people, yeah. So for me, after Mercedes will be the Range brand. The Range brand anyway. So but yeah. So
well,
but
Davido, it's always been Ford. For me, it's always been Ford. I like them big. I like them strong. I like them able to bulldoze anywhere and go anywhere. So it's always gonna be the Ford product for me. And it's always.
I love class. I love
chilling and vibing. Congratulations, you get all.
And I have to become an ambassador for Mercedes as a brand sometime in my life.
Please, I hope you guys are listening. You should.
Yeah, I should be. I have to be a brand ambassador.
I'll have to be her manager so I don't miss out on the deal.
Thank God that Messi Chimo is showing us how managing is to be done in the 21st century. Marry a man that produces and manages you. So maybe future hubby, please. We have something to do together.
Okay, future hubby, don't worry. I'll manage both of you. As far as this particular deal is concerned, me, I cannot lose out on this one. But it's a beautiful thing that.
And let's never forget that the Maybach is a Mercedes brand. Alright.
Yeah, it is. It is a Benz. I mean, if you look at Davido, he deserves practically literally everything. Sometimes you need to take a break from spoiling people and get to spoil yourself. Let's not forget in a hurry that Davido is one person who has been giving out so much to the society. Apart from his music, apart from his personal life, he has been involved in a lot of philanthropic gestures.
Yeah.
And that has affected and impacted thousands of lives.
We're talking millions of naira.
There is absolutely nothing wrong to get precious. It is your village people that are attacking you. Honestly, because I am sitting down here and I'm looking at what Davido has achieved and I'm like, God, please let me get to that point in my career that I'm able to make this kind of money and able to do the things I want to do, not just for myself, but for my family, my friends, my loved ones, and the community. I'm not thinking of how to defraud somebody to make that kind of money. I mean, Davido didn't defraud somebody. You can literally trace the source of his income. So why are you not thinking in that direction? How can I be creative enough to get to where he is? How can I involve myself in productive living that will take me to where he is? How can I get more creative, maybe get a product, get a service, something that will lift me up to that point? You're rather thinking of how to go and defraud somebody.
And let's not even forget the fact that he's not just a content creator or a singer or the likes.
It's also business.
Timeless, yeah. Apart from even doing, business, we see him drop the album Timeless, and we know that Timeless on its own, the album on its own sold itself because of the person behind the album, Davido. So it was, tracking and chatting. But then you see the amount of work that Davido is putting into the album. He's touring the entire world for his album, and a lot of musicians and producers have commended him for the energy that he puts behind his work. Do you think that the tours are not going to be giving back financially to him? Yes, they are going to be giving back, and there's going to be more brands that want him to be ambassador and all of those deals that come with it. So like Francis is saying, Davido is putting in the work, and me, the first calculation that I did was, if I'm spending about 400 million naira to get just a car, how much am I worth? Now, that's the calculation. I know that people are easily triggered into the negative these days, but we must not forget how much work some of these people are putting in to be able to afford the luxurious life that they do. So maybe don't just, find an excuse to lash out because you are living below the poverty line. I don't know if you are, but you get, that's a problem. Let's just balance it out. Let's appreciate these people. But it would be different if Davido was a person who you say, okay, all of his money, it is him and him alone. Oga, let's not even go there.
No, seriously. I think this is a point where we just have to pause and speak to Nigerian youths in particular. See, there is no abracadabra. There is no escape route from poverty outside of working and living smartly, and of course the love of God, inshallah, blessing the works of your hands. Because either ways, I think last Saturday I asked us, show me one person in the whole universe, lies that we're being told, that you're being fed if you kill somebody, if you do this, you do that, kill your mother, kill your sister, kill your brother, kill somebody in the street, that you make money. All of those things are lies that if you get to fall yourself into it, it will take you to Kiri prison. And that will be your destination. You will not make it to the list of the top richest people in the world.
You're saying the world. You
won't even be the
richest people in your state.
Your community, let alone.
You will be the richest in your state. Which world?
You have to understand that it takes hard work, it takes diligence, it takes commitment, it takes you being smart, being deliberate, intentional. It takes you having a product or service to offer that will consistently bring in the money into your account for you to get to that point. And it's going to take time. It's not like this. It doesn't happen at the snap of your finger. It takes time. It's an entire process. Many people have had to spend 10 years, others have spent 15 years, others have spent 20 years to get to where they are. If you look at Davido back 10 years ago, back 15 years ago, and ask yourself, was it this rich?
Yeah,
was it this popular? And you have your answer. So you have to be very patient and wait for the time while working it out.
Yeah. Anyway, so congratulations to Davido.
He
said Nigeria should be advised, just advise yourself, look for all these things. But then again, let me rave a little bit about the Maybach. The Mercedes Maybach Ultimate Luxury combines the DNA of an SUV with that of a saloon to form an ultra-modern SUV in a timeless 3-box design. Well, now this is the part that I love the most. Thank you to this brand. Sensual purity as the expression of the ultimate, which showcase high-tech and rouse emotion. So there is something I read a few weeks back, and you know, they were just calling names of brands, and the fact that these brands are not just selling products or services, they are selling emotions, they are selling, you know, feelings, because there are, you know, certain brands that when you mention, it triggers an emotion in you. There's a brand of soda that if you call right now, there's a feeling that it gives to you. There are brands of vehicles, like, you know, the kinds that we are talking about right now, that evokes the feeling of class, of, you know, of now, I mean, we are looking at, this is something, what did they call this? They call this sensual purity. What kind of, who are the brains behind these kinds of things? Just look at the interior of the Maybach. Imagine now, this is what I usually tell.
My, I love to get my hands on that wheels, baby.
You know,
oh
I usually like to tell people, what we're talking about, burnout as creatives, and one way that I stay inspired, or if I'm experiencing a burnout, I can easily be triggered back, is if I don't know how to explain. There's something I call modernity. So if I stay in a place that is clean, crisp, classy, you know, all that life, it's easily, that baby girl life, it easily triggers me back to my element. So I can easily start writing again, I can start imagining again if I'm in all those kinds of environments. So imagine that I am the one that is riding in this Maybach. You're gonna have all the world-class script and all the world-class songs, because I mean, I am in the element that keeps me triggered. You get? So I mean, so this is also to go back to people that feel like, okay, these people are triggering us to you know, these people are triggering some people to live above their means and all the likes. Just look for a product, a service that you are going to give back to the people, and it needs to go beyond just that product and that service. You need to be selling a feeling. I hear that some of these remarkable brands in the world, that is how they are staying afloat and selling, because they are not just selling those things, they are selling a feeling. Right. Okay, so that's it for the video, and his new purchases, his new car, his new wristwatch, gone in all up to more than 400 million naira, and some people cannot sleep at night because, I mean, it is what it is. Congratulations to the man who is paying himself out of his hard work.
Well, it is what it is, and I just say congratulations, bro. Enjoy the ride. But as for you, yeah, when that endorsement deal comes,
oh, that endorsement deal is got come. It's got come. Just
it does
give
come.
Give me another
Don't
10 years.
Don't forget, I'm going to be your manager.
Yes, I'm going to be an ambassador to
and
the
hobby,
Mercedes brand.
Please know I'm going to be your manager. Both of you.
Hey, future
just for that particular deal. Every other deal, our hands off. But for that particular deal,
somebody wants to manage your wife because she wants to be an ambassador to Mercedes.
No, seriously, for that one, I'll have to be a manager. If I'm not your manager, that deal, we're going to fight.
I absolutely love the
brand. We're going to fight.
What do they call it? Sensual purity. My God. Purity. Moving on. So yes, when we are talking about brands that are selling, that are providing products and services, but they are going beyond that and selling a feeling, Kemi Adetiba is on that table when you're talking about the movie industry in Nigeria. And they gave us a brand of movies that, you know, I think from King of Boys, that should be like from last 2 years, we've begun to see a new branch of Nollywood movies. Not just, oh, boy meets girl, fall in love, mommy doesn't agree.
And boy, you insist, mommy, this is the love of my life. And that is like, you know what, son, go for it. And
then 10 minutes to the end of the movie, you now see that they agreed, and then the movie, sometimes I'm like, yo, what are you people doing? But then we've begun to see another branch of Nollywood evolving. And yes, Kemi Adetiba gave us King of Boys 1, gave us King of Boys 2, and we're wondering, where this thing box. And she came out on her Instagram page this last week to tease us about that King of Boys 3, and the fact that she also has other new works coming on the heels of that. So we are expecting some blockbuster to be dropping from Kemi Adetiba this year, 2023. And 3, we have To Kill a Monkey, When I saw the title, I was like, hey, To Kill a Monkey. Which one is To Kill a Monkey again? What are they going to act? And then we are going to see there's this other one. The Return of the King was like King of Boys. So there's more things coming from Kemi Adetiba's tables in the next coming months, and we keep our fingers crossed for that.
Well, definitely. This amazing lady, this phenomenal producer, has done a marvelous job in the past and is still in the the picture of doing a lot more. And I will not be surprised if we keep having sequels as far as the King of Boys movie is concerned. I'm even anticipating
I'm even trying to remember how the Return of the King ended, so that when you're thinking of takeoff points and what are we really developing the movie into. Okay, the Return of the King, we found out that Oba was not dead. I think so. So there's something to develop. It's just like Gangs of Lagos. The way it ended was where it showed us that what's her name now? Bakare, the lead actor, where he and Gift, they had pushed her father down and he died. So that's showing us where they're taking away his body, and the daughter raises her head from where she was and looks up, and there's Bakare and Gift, standing, so she can quickly do the calculation in her head that, okay, these are the guys that led to my father's death. So for me, in my head, creative brain, I just did quick calculation. So if we are taking off this story, we can take off from where we are expecting a revenge from her to this guy that she thinks she loves.
Well, maybe not literally.
Maybe not, but revenge,
but that could be.
I'm saying if we want if we want to develop King of Boys into having a sequel, one plot we can see is revenge.
Definitely, revenge is always going to be a recurring theme in the King of Boys, if we have to look at that twist. And then I'm also looking at, I've not watched King of Boys 2 to the end.
Oh, I have.
I've always stopped halfway. But then I'm anticipating a lot of power play that's going to still come as a result of that.
Because she went and opened a new branch in the abroad.
Exactly. Oh, so a lot of power play. And there is this thing that a friend told me. When you stay in Nigeria and you're calling, the elites with a Nigerian number, it's just normal, even when you're, somewhere. A mindset of his own attached to it. And the way people respond and react to those kinds of calls is completely different. So I'm bringing that into context here. I'm saying a woman who was not just powerful in Nigeria, but now has a branch. So that means she now has connections with people of a kind, outside the shores of Nigeria.
Still in control.
Still in control. So it's going to be amazing, crazy power wielded by just one person that has, so that means if I have to conceptualize my own story, that means maybe a politician.
Really? Are you really doing this?
No, seriously, now just 2 minutes. That means maybe if a politician within the context of that movie does something bad and thinks I can run to abroad.
Oba will be waiting for you. Oba will be waiting for you.
And they send you back.
She went to go and become the Oba of London. Can you imagine? But with movies and some of this content, it gives you the room to dream and expand. There is absolutely, quote and unquote, there are no impossibilities with men, to the extent to which you can think, you can literally have. And so it just shows you how you can expand your mind and continue to think and all of those things. But yeah, Kemi Adetiba has more and more and more coming through us. And on the heel of Kemi Adetiba, giving us that, we have seen that in Nollywood, Q1 alone, that is January to March, we have seen 280 movies be churned out in 90 days. I had to allow it to sink. 90 days. First quarter of 2023, Nollywood produced 280 films. And then we see this information coming to us from the National Film and Video Censors Board, NFVCB. Of course, it said that 280 movies have been produced by the Nigerian film industry in the first quarter of the year. Now, the executive director, CEO of NFVCB, Alhaji Adedayo Thomas, made this known in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja. He said the figure was provided by the Department of Film Censorship and Classification of the board in its first quarter report for the year. And it captured all films submitted to the board from across the country. Now, we're even talking about just films submitted. There are other films that were produced, yes, and not submitted. 280 films. So when we are talking about 280 films, we are talking about the gross domestic product that these movies have contributed to the economy of the nation in the first quarter.
Now that takes me to why these compilations is even being made by the MVCA, and of course they've said they're targeting and channeling it to the relevant government agencies to know exactly how much this is coming. Now, I'm sitting down and I'm reading this all over again, and it's ringing in my head. Why don't we look at not just calculating what individuals have done to looking at how much this industry has brought in, and then using that to judge why we need to prioritize investing in the creative industry as a government? I mean, if you're looking at just 280 and how much this is going to bring in, imagine having 500 movies produced in quarter one. Imagine having 1,000 movies produced in quarter one, and all of these movies grossing in their millions to the country's revenue, and then to the individuals, and then it trickles down to the job creation that is being made available. Because for every movie set, persons are getting paid. Apart from the artists who are on set, there are people behind the cameras, that people within that movie location that will literally benefit from it, the food vendors, the traveling companies, I mean the hotels, everybody in the line of production is benefiting from every production. So imagine having a government that takes priority and invests a lot into the industry. You can almost imagine that Nigeria would turn away from its dependence on oil and probably turn to entertainment and agriculture and exports of what we produce in Nigeria. Imagine giving our entrepreneurs, not just the creative industry, the much desired political will in terms of policies, in terms of investment, in terms of grants and loans, single-digit loans that will encourage entrepreneurs to stand on their own, and see what these Nigerians will be able to do. I think yesterday, just having conversations around the salary increment thing and the fact that some sections of the civil servants have been, neglected in the salary raise, and then how this will trickle down. And one of the things the analyst spoke about was the fact that if the Nigerian government's successive administration prioritizes investing into MSMEs, we will get to a point in Nigeria where you will have a reduced civil servant that is more proficient, that is more professional, that are able to do their job excellently, and then you have a lot more people being employed on this other side of the divide. And that would mean the government would not have to spend so much on salaries. But at the same time, it wouldn't have to have so much statistical data in terms of people that are not employed, because the SME industry, the MSMEs industry, will have been able to employ a significant number of people that the government cannot. And that is something that we really need to look at, especially with this incoming administration. From Akwa Ibom State and the respective states of the Federation to the national level, the incoming administration of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the president-elect, we all need to look at how to empower, in the real sense, real entrepreneurs, not political entrepreneurs, real entrepreneurs who have businesses, who have ideas that you can sit down, or the experts in the business world, in the banking sector, can sit down and analyze, judging from their feasibility studies, judging for the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, and what is going to bring in, and then be able to fund those things and provide the necessary business laws and legislations that will encourage MSMEs to thrive.
Well, that's very, very true. Another breakdown that I would like to share with us on the heel of this particular entertainment news is the fact that 106 of these films, of this 280, came from Lagos alone. We have 99 coming from Abuja, and we saw Onitsha get 32. Abeokuta raked in 3 films, Kano 15, and Benin 1 only. Now, the analysis by censorship location also shows that Jos recorded 14 films, Port Harcourt 8. The person was concerned and asking, can we decongest the amount of movies produced in Lagos? Because we are now all too used to the sights and scenes of Lagos. Can we take these sights and scenes to other cities in the country? We saw 99 coming out of Abuja. That's quite good. But then we have other destination cities in the country where we can shoot our movies, so that we are expanding, the sights and scenes and the imagination of people and locations, restaurants and the like in Lagos. You can keep seeing that this particular restaurant has appeared in like 30 movies out of the 100 and how many that came out of Lagos. So, this movie enthusiast was saying, why don't we look at a way we can decongest movie production concentration from Lagos to other places? For instance, like the guest we had last week was saying Akwa Ibom State is an absolute location. For instance, we are in a city, with beautiful sceneries. We have a great road network. We have hotels. We have sights and scenes that can help you shoot any kind of movie. So we are even saying, for instance, now in the report that we are reading, Akwa Ibom has not produced any movie that has been submitted in the first quarter. And these are the conversations we've also continued to have. How are you going to present yourself to the rest of the world for the rest of the world to take you seriously? Now, that's on one side. On the other side, we are saying, let movie producers also try to find other state locations that they can use for their movie shoots. Akwa Ibom is a destination you can use also. We're talking collective development, of the entertainment industry and what we can give back. And we do hope that when these people also come into other states, using Akwa Ibom, for instance, because I know for sure that this place is a destination city. When these people come to your states to want to use locations, please collaborate with them and let them have, ease, security, and all of that they need to get their work done. So that we keep on moving. Really, a lot of people are getting tired of seeing the sights and scenes of Lagos.
Well, the one thing that you definitely see among around most of the movies is like when they fade in and they fade out, the scenery that you see, you can practically, if you're very attentive,
of course,
if you're very attentive, you would literally just remember the movie you saw, that particular scenery,
that particular house,
that particular setup, that particular street setup, everything. You literally just.
And those movies that they shoot just inside the house. It doesn't have so much external activity.
Exactly.
So that every scene in the movie is about the two people living inside this house and maybe in another house. So the scenes are just like I recently watched a movie that just had only 3 locations: this house, that house, and the restaurant that the 2 male friends often went to visit. So that was all. So it just boxes you in. It doesn't give you invest into the entertainment industry. Will be a welcome idea. But 280 movies in the first quarter of 2023, that's talking about a lot of remuneration, returns to the economy. We're talking gross domestic product brought in by the entertainment industry. But this is just Nollywood alone. When we say when we talk about entertainment, we have different facets.
Definitely.
Now we're talking entertainment and we're talking just movies.
Films.
Yeah. We see how much the guys in music have been doing, and this is how much that's reported for the guys in movies. Absolute upload.
Well, absolutely amazing.
Of course, when we can finally get the number of how much this generated.
Yes, definitely. You can almost tell how much is going to come in. But I like to come from a different angle. Like you said, Akwa Ibom is a destination, and part of the things I've discovered in recent times,
I mean, look across
way back last year, if not last year, year before last, is that people are beginning to ship things from Lagos, from Abuja, from the highbrow states and locations in the country down to the south and to states they know. Okay, for instance, I have this fashion designer who stays in Akwa Ibom. Says, I get most of my clients from Lagos.
Yeah.
Because the dress they'll be charged maybe 300, 400,000 to sew. I'm doing that same dress for 100,000, for instance. So people are going to find it easier to ship their clothes down to me with their measurements, and I finish the job with your weigh bill included. I weigh back to you. So the movie industry can do the same thing. Probably the houses you're finding or you're using in Lagos, Abuja, might cost you millions to use them, but you could find it a little bit cheaper, when you come down to this side. For now, for starts, because I know to get to a point will also get that expensive. But then another thing that would do is expose the audience to a different kind of scenery, completely different culture, completely different people, completely different environment. And of course, when you factor that down to the fact that Akwa Ibom is not just a destination, but a destination that you have access to 24/7. I mean, Ibom Air is there to bring you in and bring you back. So even if you want to come in this morning and go back later on in the day,
don't make it sound like if they come to Akwa Ibom, they don't find a place to stay.
No, definitely they
There
have
is
a place
peace,
to stay.
quiet, security, scenery, good food, awesome people. Let's not even go there. Please just bring your movies seriously. And shoot here.
Now, why I had to say that the actors are like, I'm on this set here in Lagos.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
here in Abuja,
that's
this one.
another
So
thing.
when they have to factor in that, say, and now start going to Akwa Ibom, and then how will I? The answer is literally yes. You can get to Akwa Ibom, finish what you are doing, and go back to
our airport is alive, and our
airport is a place to come to relax. I mean, yesterday I was having a conversation with a Yoruba friend of mine. He's like, one thing I don't like about Akwa Ibom is that you guys have so much food, and it makes me grow fat because I can't afford to help myself. I'm like, hello, sorry, we don't force you to eat all of our food.
We don't force you to eat all of our food, right?
So, now the food is yourself.
The food is good. The food
but
is
it's
good.
a beautiful thing to know that.
But yeah, great one there, and Nollywood is making us proud. It's also becoming a destination industry. It's I like to see it as an industry that is also evolving and finding its place in the community of movie producers in the world. And then let's move. This is a fine one for me because of certain things. Now, there is this thing we always said in time past. You know that some Nollywood movies literally could be produced within a day or 2 days or 1 week. Now, the story has it that Gangs of Lagos, the movie, was a 5-year process. Oh, I was touched when I read it. I'm like, we now use 5 years to produce Nollywood movies? Ain't that good? Now we're talking from conceptualization to script writing to, sourcing for characters and cast to the actual production. Gangs of Lagos was produced just during and after the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. And we just saw the movie in 2023. Hey, yo, we are developing in this country. This industry is absolutely evolving. Rushing to get things done and setting things. You know how you watch a movie and you're like, but this is not right for this scene. This shit has been taken away. Time is not taken with the editing because we're like, let's rush. Our target is 2 weeks, 1 month, and then we are done with everything and shooting. But Gangs of Lagos is a 5-year journey to have come to this place, and I believe it's absolutely commendable for the guys that worked on it. Of course, the script was written by Jade. Jade is the script writer for Gangs of Lagos, and then we had Demi Olubanwo and Adeshegun Adetoro, and this took 5 years from conceptualization, finding the producers, getting the cast, working on the movie itself. And I mean, they worked on the movie at the time where people were not quite investing in things. This was just as we came off the heels of the COVID-19 lockdown and everything. And one would say that the movie is worth the time investment.
Well, the movie is well worth it, and Gangs of Lagos happens to be one of those movies that has, generated a lot of reactions. And if you look at the graphic work, if you look at the stunts happen, it is something that took a lot of, preparations, a lot of planning, a lot of thoughts put into planning the different stunts. I mean, literally, action movies take a lot to ensure that it comes out perfectly beautiful. So I give the kudos to them, and I'm looking forward to what the movie would do in the coming years. But that is where we are going to, press the brakes. And then we'll go on a short music break and dance a little bit. When we come back, Rise and Shine Saturday will continue. Stay with us.
What else? The body will kill me.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be the beneficiaries of the death of our brother.
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in course of
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigeria.
From issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
security,
Education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken
every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered.
That last song is an absolute rave of the moment. I hope you enjoyed dancing to that tune. Of course, this is Rise and Shine Saturday, and we're coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. On Rise and Shine Saturday, we talk mostly entertainment, just something to calm you down, something to make you laugh, something to make you catch up on the gist and the back end of stories happening in the country. Yep, and we'll be having some great conversation. Just to help back into it, Davido, I know we talked about him earlier, but then these other two that he just recently did stands out for me. The fact that there was a staff of his that was owing someone to the tune of about 800,000 naira, and Davido got wind of that information, especially because the said staff had been dragged by the creditor, and Davido got wind of that and, you know, paid off that debt. Again, one of his staff was also gifted an iPhone 14 Pro Max or something like that. And I'm like, yo, I nearly said one funny thing now. I nearly said I should be Davido's staff right now.
Oh yeah, is your own. Oyo is your own, like, right there. Oyo is your own.
He gave one of his guys an iPhone 14, and, you know, just the way to appreciate, you know, these people around him. But I think the person that he helped with the 800,000 naira debt really touches me the most. It reminds me of a Bible story and a Bible character, and it takes our mind back to what we said initially when people are saying, oh, spending that amount of money to get yourself a car, get yourself a wristwatch is too much, and why do you have to flaunt it and all the likes. I also remember reading a particular article from Davido this last week where he said that Aliko Dangote told him something, more like don't spend your money on cars. Aliko Dangote buys 2 cars every 8 years, according to that particular article that I read. I don't know how true that is. And, you know, just after reading that particular article was when I announced that Davido had bought himself a Maybach, and I'm like, yo, aren't you following your mentor's words? You know, but then he's someone who gives back to the people around him, and he is absolutely worth celebrating. You know, it's not just that you're not using the people around you, you're effectively giving back to them. And these usually, you know, not just saying, oh, they paid the salary, they can take care of themselves, you know, through that. These are people that are consistently giving back to your brand, giving back to your organization. Do you have that family culture that if, you know, something came up and a staff of yours or, you know, someone who endorses you basically, you know, had a need, you'd be able to go, you know, above and beyond for them. And we continue to see Davido live in those strides, and I believe it's absolutely commendable.
Right, definitely. There are lots of organizations, a few organizations actually.
A few, you can't say there's a lot.
Not lots. A few organizations I actually know do go the extra miles in terms of welfare of their staff and personnel to, you know, get to give into the lives of those people. It's particularly in moments of emergency, maybe grave or loss of loved ones, or, you know, those great celebrations of marriage, birthdays, and all of those. We see a few organizations being able to do that. A few individuals even also being able to do that. But at this point, we're going to bring to you something you didn't expect us to do at this point. Yeah, I know you didn't expect us to bring your guests. We're like that. We just like to flip the coin a little bit and bring you up to date with what's happening. So we will be having a live conversation with Victor Thompson Inyang. He's a veteran thespian and lecturer, of course, Ibom Theatre and Film Festival director. He's an iCreative Pro member. Is one individual that, you know, has been in the creative industry and has contributed a lot to the industry, and that will help us navigate, you know, the concerns that we raised this morning about the fact that of the 280 movies, Akwa Ibom didn't register anyone. These are questions and a lot more that we're going to fire him with. I get to see how he's going to respond to it. Hello, Mr. Victor. Welcome to Rise and Shine Saturday. Hello, Victor.
Okay, we're not sure if he can hear us right now.
Not sure. Okay,
So
Victor,
let's
can
check
you
his
hear
audio.
us?
I doubt he can hear us in this
I don't
particular
think he
moment.
can hear.
So maybe we'll just check that and then get right back into it. While we wait, I think we can just look at another story while we confirm if his audio is good. Please let us know once Victor can hear us clearly and we get right into the conversation. There's a lot of
Okay,
things.
Victor, can you hear us? Good morning. Hello, Victor. Welcome to Rise and Shine Saturday. I doubt he can hear me.
He cannot hear us. He can't hear us. So please, let's just fix
Okay, let's try
that.
and fix that, guys, and then we'll come back to
And
Victor.
then we'll definitely get to that. But then, of course, you see now, the team with Amiibo say, Amiibo no dey finish. Even if you want to pause Amiibo and go and have serious talk, a serious talk no great gauge, Amiibo still dey. You see, he heard of the passing of Yola Dochi's first son, who passed a month after his 16th birthday. And we know that Yola Dochi had gone quiet upon that event happening. But this last week, we saw him sharing memories of his son's last moments and, you know, just eulogizing his son as to the fact that his son has actually family. And we've seen them go through their grief, and Yoli Dochi was finally able to come and give the, you know, more like the social media, what will I say, response that would have loved to see. You know, usually netizens want to follow up as to how you're dealing with certain things. So a couple of weeks after, he has come out to talk about his son, talk about the passing, and Kambili Chuku, that a man had come to him just that morning or a day before and was telling him his school was going to be having inter-house sports, and he was promising to be there just to eventually hear that his son had passed. Such a sorry situation. We hope you liked it to hear that he had made his mark. His father said, you know, there was a particular article where I read that he was, you know, really smart at 16, lived up to a lot of things, and this was good. May the soul of the, you know, reposed actually rest in peace. And
it's a good thing to find out that, you know, you has actually eventually come out to speak about the demise of his son.
Yeah.
It would, if not for anything, help him to heal, you know, to help him to move past what has happened, you know, and a lot of things have happened with him that live on, and it's a way of saying, you know, appreciating all the beautiful things that God has done for him and his family and in the life of the child for the course of 16 years. You know, that is lived here on earth. So we continue to pray for May and Yul Dosha to be able to find the fortitude to bear the demise of their son. I mean, the Bible tells us that, you know, parents should never get to bury their children. It should be the other way around, but life happens and we still have to go on with it.
Life happens and we have to go on with it. And still talking about some losses and the, you know, celebrity losses, we see the fact that TV icon Jerry Springer has passed away at the age of 79. I don't know how many of us remember the Jerry Springer show. I'm smiling and talking about it. Don't worry, I never watched it. I just have the information because I'm in the media. But I always remember people talking about the Jerry Springer show. I never really watched it. But yeah, he's passed at the age of 79.
Well, Jerry Springer has been an amazing personality, you know. I've been a keen follower of the Jerry Springer show. I love the drama. I love the reality spices brought to the show on a daily basis. I love the genuineness, the sincerity. And it's been an amazing concept. It's been a show that has stood the test of time. And he's been a very dynamic anchor and host of that show. So, you know, getting to see him pass away, I'm thinking in two ways. One, praying for the repose of his soul. Two, how is somebody going to fit into that seat?
Well, does someone really have to fit into the city? Now you've made me lost for words. You know, someone can live up to it. You don't have to fit, because we all have what we bring to the table. Do we still want to see? I mean, when you say Jerry Springer show, it was to the person of Jerry Springer, and there has only been one Jerry Springer. There can't be two Jerry Springers. You know, it brings a lot to the table. So we just not try to hassle anybody into that. But you know, when there's been names of people that you heard while growing up, and you now hear the past and all of that, it just brings you to the fact that life is transient. Well, may the soul of the reposed rest in peace. Yeah, yes, it should. Okay, moving on. Where is our guest? Okay, I'm sure that our guest will be coming up shortly. And Stone Boy. I like the way I said the name. I know I got it right. Not like Stone Boy, like Stone Boy. Hey.
I'm sensing something.
What are you sensing?
Nothing.
You can't even go. If it's that
nothing, just nothing. Just
well,
go on.
Well, Stone Boy has released his highly anticipated album, Fifth Dimension. The guys in the entertainment industry, the energy they are bringing home. Highly anticipated Fifth Dimension album, and this is a 15-track album. A 15-track album that has all the lovely doobie things that you want to hear music. I mean, there's Far Away, there is More of You, and we can always see that you know, some of these songs are tailored around the things that catch our fancy the most. I know that Making Money catches our fancy, and Loving and Being Loved catches our fancy, and these are some of the things that you know, this album is tailored around, and it's beautiful to see that our guys are putting in the work and you know, able to hit it off as they go in the trend of entertainment.
Well, as far as entertainment is concerned, we'll always find amazing personalities, amazing work of art, amazing compilation of amazing compositions being put together by, you know, celebrities, musical artists, particularly coming from Nigeria. Now, it's been amazing, it's been wonderful, and we get to see these things still coming. Fifth Dimension sounds so mysterious, if you ask me. Yeah, it sounds so mysterious. So,
like the other side.
Exactly. So I'm beginning to say, okay, maybe I need to go listen to all of the, all of the tracks in this Fifth Dimension, so I get to feel the emotions behind it. I get to enjoy what he has to say. But I've just been notified that our guest can now hear us, so it's about time we leave this amebo and go back to ask some very serious questions. Hello, Thompson. Welcome to Rise and Shine Saturday.
Hello, Victor Thompson. Good morning. Glad to have you on Rise and Shine Saturday. Can you hear us now? Okay.
I think we just hold on a little bit and let them finish the back end and see if we can get it back. But as soon as we are able to get to hear Victor, we'll definitely bring him on, and then we'll get to ask all the questions that we need to ask. But going back to our Jason Amebo. So I was just saying how I like to, you know, sit back and listen to all of the songs in the Fifth Dimension. You know, sometimes it's not easy. One of the things I appreciate a lot about the creative, it's not easy to come up with a theme that, you know, suits the message being put through. You look at the Gangs of Lagos, they told us they had to settle for how many names before they eventually came to Gangs of Lagos. You look at a lot of series that come up, sometimes you get to produce a body of work with a different title, different brand and everything. But at the end of the job, you sit back and you look at the different twists and turns, the different additions and subtractions that, you know, the creative team had to bring to the fore. And then you see that there has been a complete change. The crazy drive for different thoughts, different suggestions begins to set in, and then eventually settle on one and like, oh, that would do it. So it's an amazing thing to always see, you know, this catchy themes, catchy titles coming from our creative. And that is one thing that say do help in selling, because like Fifth Dimension. So a lot of persons, just like I just said, a lot of persons want to know what the fifth dimension is all about, what the feeling, the emotions, the storyline, the message that's being passed through the different songs in the fifth dimension album is. So that for me will drive a whole lot of fans, a whole lot of people going to download, going to stream, going to just literally get the music just as it is out.
Yeah, moving on from that, we also like to bring you, information of very serious things happening in the entertainment industry. And we remember that in the last 2 years, we've continued to have information of repatriated artifacts to some parts of Africa, artifacts that were taken by the colonial masters. And we saw that some artifacts were to be repatriated to Edo State, the Benin people. And upon that being done, there was now a rivalry between who should be in custody of those repatriated artifacts, whether it was going to be the state governor in the person of Mr. Godwin Obaseki or the Oba. Now, what are the institutional guidelines for the custody of artifacts? We are talking about things that made the Benin Empire back in the day, and these were things that were taken by the colonial masters, when we were under their leadership. But now the Oba of Benin, Eware II, says custody of the repatriated Benin artifact has been settled by the federal government, stressing that there is no more controversy over the issue. Now, he made clarifications at his palace on Friday during a meeting with the ambassador of the Netherlands to Nigeria, Walter Plump, saying the federal government rightly recognized the significance of having the repatriated artifacts in the custody of the Oba of Benin. Now, there had been a certain notice by the federal government in the official gazette, number 25 and number 57, volume 110. Now, March 23rd was when that erupted. Now, it laid to rest the raging tussle between the Oba and the Edo State Governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, on who to be the custodian of the repatriated artifact. Now, this is on the heel of the fact that the institution recognizes the fact that the ownership, custody, and management of the artifacts are clearly stated to be vested in the institution of the Oba, which is what is in the law. So the ongoing plans for the reconstruction of the Benin Royal Museum project at the instance of the Nigerian government is on course. So we see here that when we are talking about cultural and cultural things, artifacts, and the lives, where we have very solid institutions, where we have monarchs in charge, I think it goes without saying, it's more like common sense that this thing should be maintained and cultured, custodied within the
involving issues
everything must not be politicized.
It must not be politicized. Yeah. So the artifacts has been returned, it's back to the state, and then you just need to take delivery of it and let the people have fun and enjoy the return of their artifacts. But we've been joined by our guest, Miss Thompson Inyang. Thompson, welcome to Rise and Shine. How are you this morning?
I am very good. Happy World Dance Day to you.
Oh, well, Dance Day, yeah. I'm not part of the dancing crew, but thank you.
Okay, that did a quick one to my mind. It means we need to have a dance challenge before we go today, so keep ready for it. Thank you.
Dance challenge.
Yeah, we're gonna have a dance challenge. Maybe Victor will even lead us. Good morning. Good to have you on the show. My name is Uyai Anyakan, and I am super delighted to have you on the show this morning. Okay.
All right, Victor, can you hear us?
He looks frozen. He looks frozen.
Okay.
He's frozen. Okay.
All right, guys. Let's hope the network will be friendly, so we can have.
We have audio network. These are the things we are talking about. We are talking about infrastructure in the country that can allow for businesses to thrive. In the Western world, we hardly hear the network was frozen. Because everything
you won't even have this conversation virtually, and you see it. You never, if you're not told this actually happened virtually.
Those kind of hitches should be fixed. It's part of the things we are talking about, building MSMEs and all of that, so that we can succeed as a people. But then we do hope that we can, get all that out so that we talk to our guest. There's a lot of things we need to hammer him on this morning. It's entertainment just all through. And I think part of the things we're talking about, Basiki, as the governor of Edo State, says, I want to keep the artifact, but the institution of the Oba is saying, no, it cannot be in the government's custody. It should be in traditional stool. And also we move on where we saw that Egypt has raised an alarm over a docudrama that is being put together by Netflix, saying that Cleopatra, who was one of their, highest ranking monarchs, was light-skinned. Now, in the docudrama that Netflix is putting together, Cleopatra is represented as a dark-skinned, monarch, and the Egypt authority have come to say that, hey, no, we are not going to accept this. Cleopatra was not dark-skinned, but was light-skinned. So we are beginning to see this kind of tussle, and the docudrama is already close to finish line. I mean, we are closing in on airing day, and we are hearing that the Egypt government is really standing against it. So one would begin to think, is it that this production is going to be stood down, or what exactly is going to happen? Because we have a lot of people within the institution that are saying, yes, of a truth, Cleopatra was actually light-skinned. They're talking about the fact that if you see even the, what do we call this, monuments that are raised in her honor are mostly done light-skinned, not dark. So they do not like the fact that this is misrepresenting history and misrepresenting culture. They have been calling on Netflix to retract that particular representation, but quite don't know how that is going to land, because this production has already gone, literally it's done. Release date is May 10. How is this going to end?
Well, as far as reenacting real life stories, traditions and cultures and values, it calls for us to be very, very intentional and deliberate in casting. Casting is one of the basic things to set the record straight, and it's very important that whoever gets to cast these kinds of sensitive work pays very keen attention to details, and that's what the Egyptian people are saying. I mean, it's a complete misrepresentation of you putting up a queen who stood for a whole lot of things that has been known, and is down history lane. So I mean, I'm asking myself, did the cast director not do due diligence? What did they do, or what were they looking at fits into that role, or who could play that role on a light skin? You could, make up there are makeups that could turn that person into light skin throughout the course of that shooting, throughout the course of that production. And then even if the person in real life happens to be dark skinned, and then in the film or the docudrama, is painted out to be a light skinned person, everybody will know, okay, this is just for the role and for the person that is being represented.
Not like in defense of the producers, but let's expand our reasoning point. Egypt is a non-African nation. It's a northern African nation rather, and history also goes down to show the fact that they accept that Cleopatra is of African descent, although there are other roots, but primarily the Egypt nation, the Egyptians do agree that she's primarily African. It's just like you saying you are African and you are absolutely light-skinned. I personally don't feel like there should be a lot of tussle if we want to tell a story about you. I know, okay, we should get it right that you were fair, but look at it from the other prism. Why are we so why do you really want to represent Cleopatra as light-skinned when you would say, okay, more like the heritage of the African man is the black skin? I really don't feel like this should be such a serious case, respectfully so, in terms of the fact that, I mean, Egypt is not Northern Africa, and most of the people in Egypt are kind of my skin color, brown skin people. And, if Netflix wanted to represent Cleopatra in the light to maintain the heritage of the African people, everything that is not our color, and try to really push that up, that is just the perspective with which I'm looking at this particular story. But then let's remember that Cleopatra was Egypt's last pharaoh. Of course, she was a legendary leader who, according to popular belief, ended her life by allowing a deadly cobra to bite her breast. That was the story that laden with Cleopatra. But more than 2,000 years after her death, the woman who had love affairs with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony was ignited in a modern day controversy over race and representation. Of course, Queen Cleopatra, a new 4-part drama documentary by Netflix, the title role is played by Adele James, and Hellenistic characteristics. That's the problem that they have with it. Now, this past week, the Egyptian Antiquities Ministry published a lengthy statement that included opinions from experts that it said agree on Cleopatra's skin color and facial features. You know, bas reliefs and statues of Queen Cleopatra are the best proof, the statement said, embellishing its text with illustrations showing Cleopatra with European traits. I mean, it goes back to my argument. Why do Africans like to reach out for what's, you know?
Color has been under debate for so many things and so many reasons. It seems like even the skin color that you find people who have light skin that are not from America, from Europe, you know, and all of those white countries, it literally is like you are stealing the skin, or you don't have any right to own that skin. So I think I kind of understand where the Egypt government is coming from. Yes, it's an African root. Yes, she's an African. Yes, she was from Africa. We understand those realities. We understand those truths. But then she is an African with a light skin with a light skin color, and that has to be acknowledged. So it doesn't have to be like an exclusive right, an exclusive privilege that there's a certain particular group of persons that, you know, have the ownership to the light skin,
the exclusive reserve of being light skin.
Exactly. So I kind of understand from where they're coming from. I like it when you come from that
angle too.
Yeah. So we get to understand that yes, she's from Africa, but this was her skin color, and you know, it's unique. It's unique to understand those things. And if you have to paint pictures of those persons, I mean, you can't paint a picture of Julius Caesar, for instance, and give Julius Caesar a black skin, and you say that's Julius Caesar. That cannot be Julius Caesar, because he wasn't a black-skinned person. You know, you can't paint a picture of let's say Martin Luther King Jr. You know, and then you're giving him a white skin when we all know he had a dark skin. So that is complete misrepresentation. You could have another Julius Caesar who was dark skinned, and we know that, okay, that one was dark skinned, and everybody understands. But if you're telling exactitude, if you're telling the true story of an individual, then it's very important that you represent that person exactly the way that person is. That's why people go, producers, filmmakers go the extra mile to use makeup. You know, it's like the science fi. You get to see different particular kinds of makeup that is, you know, transformational makeup that are being done on actors. Sometimes this makeup takes months for it to be done, and it takes months for it to be, you know, to get clean. It's very important. That's why people pay attention to those things. I don't know how...
Are we looking at a point where we can, you know, maybe see that Netflix absolutely apologizes for the misrepresentation and just ask that, you know, the Egyptian experts understand that the production has been done? Or, you know, are we looking at the fact that
we all saw the drama that came with the force that a Black Panther should have been a white-skinned person, not a dark-skinned person playing, you know, the Panther role? If we have to go down that memory lane, there's a lot at stake here. And if I happen to stand on the side of the Egyptian government, I would say they have to not just apologize, but change. Go back the entire process and bring a different guest. It's going to cost them a lot more money, yes, but they're going to be able to make it back. Because that's something that is something that should not have been neglected, unless it was a deliberate move by some.
Cleopatra is going to be from the movie.
Exactly.
So maybe it should absolutely be told right.
Exactly. So it has to be told right. There are no two ways about it. It has to be done right. So, sorry guys. I'm just hoping they find a common ground anyways to, resolve the issue. But if you ask me, I would say it's absolutely necessary for that to be done. I mean, and also it goes back to the conversations we've had severally about Africans being able to tell the African stories. I'm sure there are Africans working with Netflix, and there should be an African in that team of the docudrama, and those Africans should have been able to, make it crystal clear the different things that needs to be looked out for. It's like coming to the Oyo Empire, looking at the movie The Woman King, depicting the kingdom of Dahomey, the Oyo Empire. You have to go down to the nitty-gritties of how the environment was, how the terrain was, the dressing, the way of life, everything. That is what makes that story uniquely different. And if you take those, different things away, then you're telling a completely different story and then depicting a particular place.
Okay, we're just moving from there, but still very, things that provoke your thoughts about the entertainment industry. Last week we had a statement that was released covering copyright and infringement issues in the country, and we're seeing that the institutions, the copyright institutions are saying we are going to begin to do more to make sure that intellectual property is properly covered by copyright laws. There is a tussle in the NARC issue on Domitila. Now, Domitila is even one of the movies that has been nominated for awards in the AMVCAs, and so the Federal Trademark Registry has fixed the 4th of May for a report of settlement in disputes between veteran filmmaker Zeb Ejiro and actress Anne Njemanze over the rightful ownership of the brand Domitila. Okay, so the registry, a commercial law department of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, equally adjourned the ruling. Now they are saying both of you should go back and settle out of court and come back and tell us what the resolution is. We do not want to first-hand handle it, for you. Now, if the parties in the dispute fail to reach an agreement of settlement, then, the courts will come in. Now, the issue here is that Zeb Ejiro had written the movie Domitila as far back as 1996, the first leg of it, 1996, and Anne Njemanze was, the lead actress in the movie back in the day, and then a sequel was done to it and she was still there. But we find out that from 1996 to the sequel was done, Domitila 2 was done in 1999 by Ejiro, and a remake was scheduled for this 2023. Now, years after the release of Domitila 1 and 2, Njemanze reportedly trademarked the name Domitila and devised on purported registration of the brand. Now, it is just, I don't even know where to come from. 1996, 1999. This is when the brand name Domitila was there, and Zeb Ejiro invited you to be a cast on it. How come you trademarked it in 2020? And now he's coming to, there's now a legal battle for this.
Well, it's just a through picture of what happens in the entertainment industry. When you share ideas with people, you have to be very, very careful. Recall the conversation we had with Dan Chris last week when over the bottle challenge, trends that's currently making the round. Now, it has happened to me once within the course of my, being in this industry, that you come up with an idea and then you share it, but because you don't have a wherewithal to do the needful, somebody outsmarts you. They call it outsmarting or being smart, and play a fast one on you and get to register and then takes ownership of that thing. That is what is playing out here. So somebody has a brand, invited you to be part of that brand. No idea how long it took that person to conceptualize that idea, build it to the brand that it was before you were not brought in. All you're looking at is, ripping that person of his or her lifetime hard-earned, investment into that brand. I'm hoping, with the evidence on ground, that justice is served, because if it isn't, then we might have a lot of people, getting to take those steps, because sometimes you can find people who are building brands, and basically maybe because they don't easily have a way with all, or maybe the poor lack of access to the right information, because even as we stand, there are very well educated content creators, filmmakers, producers that have not taken, the issue of franchise has invested so much into to make it your thing. I'm hoping she gets justice for it.
Well, it continues to be a lot of issue. It's more like Anne Jemanze he traded it for like another line of business, but then we're seeing Domitila 1 and 2 has already been used as a film initiative since 1996, and that's why the court is saying the best way to handle this will be out of court. And we're really wishing our guest was going to be able to come on, because we're going to have conversations around all the whole copyright issues within the industry and what they're doing to cover these grounds. Intellectual property, in this last week we also celebrated the day of the intellectual property, something like that. And it's important to know that creating is a lot of work. It takes a lot to create, whether it's a song, whether it's a soundbite, whether it's anything. And it's just appropriate that the creators of these things own their right to be able to earn the proceeds that come off out of their their creations. And when people quickly play a smart one on them, it's just not fair. And in the day that we have, of course, CAC is there and all the likes, I feel like also we need to begin to push as creatives or business people to get the right information around the things that we do, because sometimes it's just a lack of the right body of information. You don't know that you ought to trademark your idea names, even sometimes businesses that you hope to do in the future that you're not ready to do now, but you already have a brand idea, you have a brand name, you have things. Because sometimes you write it down in your journal, you don't know who someone is around you, someone reads your journal before you go to go and register, you hear that the name had already been registered. Who are you? Do you understand? So even when you have like brand ideas, things you want to do in the future, but you're not yet ready, if you have, I think between 25 to 30K, you can even just register some of those names and those entities and keep ahead of time. I think it's a wise thing to do, so that people don't attempt to boycott you out of, your brain juice, like I always like to put it.
Well, definitely. Sometimes, yes, it's good to register and keep, but I think besides just registering, it's also important for you to have a legal person, have an idea of what you are doing, because that legal documentation also helps you in cases of, things like this coming out. From the registration process to having a legal representative or having somebody takes care of your legal issues and advise you accordingly. Yeah, not all of us who have great dreams, visions, and business ideas can immediately kickstart it. And even those who register, I've had people who've registered their business names, their business ideas with the CAC, and have even gone as far as getting a tax registration with the FIRS, but the lack of funding to kickstart the business has kept them, say, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years behind, their initial schedule and plan. And then recently, I think that the federal government through the FIRS and the CAC had been talking. There has been a couple of talks about, withdrawing the business names, the entity names that have been registered from businesses that are not yet actually, practicing and or doing business and paying, the anticipated or expected tax, to the FIRS. And that's something that we need to look at. Government should not just look at people getting to register. Yes, somebody can have the idea to register and want to start a business, but one thing or the other leads to not being able to start that business. I think we should get to normalize the fact that once a business name has been registered, just know that that person is definitely going to, there are 1,000 billions of ideas, billions of stars that every one of us can think out and create a concept around. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that somebody else has done. So we should leave those names consistently being there in the record, so that whenever that person wakes up and finds the funds to do the business, the person can literally just go ahead to invest in that business. And it's also very important that we take into consideration the issue of registering and trademarking. Yes, it costs money, but then for you to make money, you have to spend money.
Well, I'm sorry we couldn't bring you our guests. There was a lot of issues, and we apologize for you today on Rise and Shine Saturday. But guess what? Today is Happy Dance Thursday, so we're gonna have a challenge now. Please,
okay,
DJ
guys.
producer, give us the music. Let us dig this out. We have like
this
like
this is courtesy Victor. Victor just brought this.
Thank you, Victor. You contributed to our show today, although we couldn't talk to you. Please, DJ producer, hit us with a real vibey song. Let us have a dance challenge today. Who dances the most?
Wait, what's the prize for this dance challenge?
What's the
price?
I
don't like to do anything without a price tag on it.
What's the price? We'll ask producer.
Producer, what's the price?
We'll ask producer what's the price of this. But let's have a dance challenge, you know.
Okay, but it's going to be on the seat dance challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be on the seat.
On the seat.
Because I'm not sure I can stand up.
On the seat. I love that. It is on the seat.
Let's have music. Let's have music. Let's turn it up. So, viewers of Rise and Shine Saturday, let's dig it all together. Can you do me a dance and send me a video of yourself dancing via the WhatsApp number that is going to be displayed on your screen? So you can just give me a 30 minutes dance, dance of your
30 seconds.
Video dance. 30 seconds.
60 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. So the first 3 that comes up will be aired. We have just about 3 minutes to go. So the first 3 videos that come in, we are going to air 30 seconds of you dancing to the songs we are giving. DJ producer, I hope the song is something we can really vibe to. Turn it up. Who gave us this song?
I don't know. I can't
Who gave us this song? I can't do song.
I can't dance to
this song cannot be used for challenge.
I can't dance to this. I can't dance to this, but I just, you know.
Do me your video. Send me 30 seconds of you diving. Oshe. Happy World Dancers Day. So every dancer out there, we celebrate you. You remember that's our dancing?
Okay, so they changed. I think they're bringing something hotter. You know?
Is it the Conqueror or something?
Yeah, the Conqueror. This
is like traditional now. Oh yeah.
Now we there, yeah. Now we there, yeah. It's a tabula bulia, now we there, yeah. Messi was in the weekend, now we there, yeah.
I should have had one like this spring now.
You have got no choice. If you go to package, I need you ever top of the belly. Security confirmed, the man who don't you know.
That is how far I can go. Victor, thank you very much. Thank you very much for bringing this challenge. But that is absolutely how far my strength can go this morning. Please,
Francis is a lazy dancer. Francis is a lazy dancer. Congratulations, happy World Dance Day, and I hope that you play yourself some good music. Dance, 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 and dance today. This is the joy that we bring you on Rise and Shine Saturday, and we absolutely appreciate you for tuning in to Spectrum Television. Thank you for choosing Rise and Shine. It's always happy to do this because you are on the other end. My name is Uyai Anyeka, and I will definitely be leaving you with music to dance. Dance to a video of yourself, send it to us, and we'll definitely air it when you see us again next week Saturday. It's our dance challenge day. Send it to us also on our social media platforms. You can tag us to the video at spectrumtv.ng. Do that on Instagram, do that on Facebook, and we will definitely engage you right on there. Of course, when you send your video to our online platforms, you can also tag at Uyai Barak, and also you can tag at Francis Onyema, so that once your video drops, we will come and interact with it on our Spectrum Television platforms. Please do well to send us your videos. I will leave you with dance.
All right, just enjoy the dance, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We love you, absolutely.
We love you. Please remember to put hashtag Spectrum TV Dance Challenge when you do that. All right, let's go. Let's see you online. Bye bye.